All right, Cougar Academy Algebra 2, welcome to a new lesson here, 5.3, Notes and Practice. Trying out a new recording software here, so let's give it a try. So, how do you add, subtract, multiply polynomials? This should be pretty easy stuff here, mainly review, so hopefully this one's nice for you. So simplify each expression, write in standard form. We'll talk a little bit about that in a bit. Basically, if you remember this stuff, we have different terms with different exponents, so we're just going to be adding like terms. If you want to highlight them, that could be useful. I'll start with the biggest exponent, and that's what standard form is. It's just the biggest exponent to the smallest. So biggest exponent or power to the smallest. Okay, so 2m to the fourth minus an m to the fourth is going to be a 3m to the fourth. I'm going to look for any m to the thirds. There's one, and there's another. So actually 3 and negative 1 is going to be 2m to the third, and let's look for a square. No squareds. So to the first. So a negative m plus an m plus another one. That's 2 minus 1 is just an m to the first. And let's look at our constants. So 2, 1, and that's it, 3. Okay, so that's it. Adding, standard form, bada bing, bada boom, biggest to smallest exponents. Where it can get a little tricky is with subtraction. So for number 2, just remember you want to distribute that negative and then think of it as minus 1 minus 3x to the third. And from there, it's really all the same. So I'm going to start with my x to the thirds. So there's negative 3 and 2 and negative 1. So negative 4 plus 2 is going to be negative 2x to the third. Next, let's look for x squareds. X squareds. So x squared and 2x squared is going to be 3x squared. Let's look for x to the first. And it's just one little guy, plus x. And let's just be careful with our constants. It's a negative 1, a negative 2, and a positive 1. So negative 3 plus 1 is going to be negative 2. Okay, doing it that way already gets it in standard form for you. That's just helpful to look at things like graphing and stuff in the future if it's in standard form. So basically that there. Where it gets a little trickier is with products. Okay, we're going to be looking at some more complicated products here. And really, again, you should have seen most of this. So find each product. We have a trinomial. Remember that old stuff. Trinomial times a binomial. And really, it's going to be easy. It's just a process. 8x squared times 2x is 16x to the third, adding the exponents. And then we can do the same thing, 8x squared times negative 1. That would be minus 8x squared. Now what I like to do is when I move to the next term here, you'll see how I'm going to write it here. 4x times 2x is going to be 8x squared. Now notice I wrote it below the other x squared. It's going to make my life easier in the end, and I know that's something you guys like too. So adding that there, then I will distribute to the negative 1. Okay, so it's negative 4x. And then lastly, I can look at the last set, and negative 4 times 2 is going to be negative 8x, aligning them up again, and then plus 4. Okay, so pretty snazzy stuff. Now here's the nice thing, 16x to the third, that does not add with anything else. The x squareds, they actually cancel each other out, so that's going to be 0. You don't need to write anything there. We'll have minus 12x and then plus 4. And that is multiplication of a trinomial times a binomial. Okay, just a little bit of a process. For 4, now we got a trinomial times a trinomial. Oh man, and basically it's the same thing, just Oh, it's quite a process. 8 times 8 is going to be 64, n to the fourth. Oh my. Adding the exponents. Distribute to the next. I like to draw the little arrows, okay? Don't be afraid to show that distribution and to multiply things out there. 8 times 6 is 48. Yes, my brain, I had to do that in my calculator as well. So it's okay. Some days you need that little extra comfort. 56, I knew that one. 56 n squared. Once you have that, just move on. Move on to the next partner. 7 and 8, I just did that, so negative 56 n to the third. Be careful with the n's. And then negative 7 times 6, negative 42 n squared. I'm just having a moment. Yes, it's the same thing. Okay. And negative 49 n. And lastly, we're going to take care of the 2's. So negative 2 times times 8n squared, negative 16n squared, minus 12n, minus 14. And then we just shake and bake, add them all together, 49 and 12. I know you're like, wow, he's really doing all this in his calculator. Okay, yes, okay, sometimes you need that extra comfort. But if you are comfortable without, you don't need to worry about it. Negative 2n squared, 48 minus 56, negative 8n to the third, and then 64n to the fourth. So that is a blast of multiplication. I bet you are so looking forward to those ones. There won't be too many, but practice makes perfect, and hopefully you find it's easier stuff. Okay, next up we have some special products. Okay, these ones you might recognize from the past, but really they're just a reminder as to what's going on here. So notice these ones are similar, but with different signs. Anyone remember what we call those? If you said conjugates, you are correct. So with conjugates, something special happens with these. So 4n times n is 16n squared. Remember, FOIL, that is what's back. Outers, plus 8n. Inners, minus 8n. And the lasts, minus 4. Look what happens there. The oys cancel. So 16n squared minus 4. You might recognize that as a difference of squares when we go back to factor. Okay, something like 6, this is your trap. Watch out for the pirate trap. Okay, do not distribute that 2. No, sir or ma'am. Instead, what we have is 4a plus 7, quantity 4a plus 7. 2 of them. Then we got a FOIL. 4 times 4, 16, plus 28, plus another, plus 49. So do not distribute that. Draw the little skull if you have to before you fall into the trap. We got 56 here. I know I didn't need to use my calculator for that one. Getting confident, and that's what that one comes out to be. Okay, so good stuff. Our last special product, okay, 7 is very similar to 6, okay, and again, do not just distribute that 3. That's a trap. Don't distribute the power. If this was multiplication, okay, then you could, okay, multiplication, yes. Addition, no, okay, so ignore that for right now. Instead, what we have are 3 of these chunks, and I know you're You might be intimidated already, but it'll be okay. Just take it slow. What I recommend then doing is you need to foil 2 at a time. So we're going to foil 2 of them. I'll pick these 2 here. Foil, so first, outer, inners, last. 7 times 7, 49. B squared. Outers, again, 28b. Inners, 28b. And lasts. So 49 plus 56 plus 16. Now we're not done just yet because we have the 7b plus 4. So from here, then we just need to do our distributing and multiplying from above. So 7 times 49, I'm going to get my calculator back on out. 343. And that's b to the third. 7 times 56. That's the next one, 392. Where'd you get that from? Well, I multiplied to there. And then 7 times 16 is going to be 112. All right, almost done. Almost done. And 4 times 49, that's going to give me 196b squared. Okay, 4 times 56, looking like 224 a b, and 4 times 16 is 64. So let's just add them all together and see what we got. 343, b to the third. 392 plus 196, that's a big old number. 588, b squared, and 112 plus 224 is 336 and 64. So those, they're not tremendously challenging, okay? Just remember, don't fall for those traps. Make sure you practice these and you don't fall for them. Speaking of practice, those are the problems on the back here. So for you to try out, find each product, and so forth. As always, do your very best and check your work. Great job, guys. Thanks.